Wow.
That's what you come to Stuart, Florida for right there.
That was a beautiful fish. That's the way that's supposed to happen.
Wow.
There you go.
Just sitting here reading the comments. Will I ever come up north and do stripers? We did 2 striper shows up there. We went off of Block Island, and we also went off of New Rochelle. Killer fish to catch. I love doing that. And the way we did that up there, we basically threw a snatch hook inside the big bunker pods and pogey pods, whatever you want to call them, and you snag one of those fish, and then you just let it go off, and you can feel those fish when they get nervous. Boom, and those big stripers eat. Very, very neat way to fish up there. All right, up next, once again, this little DOA shrimp right there. That's probably my go-to lure wherever I go. Everything eats shrimp, including us, and that little dude right there does the trick. DOA shrimp, catching big trout.
What do you call that color right there?
Well, I don't know the exact name or the exact color number. Somebody might be able to put it up, and I call it the cotton shrimp because where I come from in the Banana River system, the shrimp have a disease sometimes that they get, and it leaves the back of their back like that, looking like a cotton in there, and it imitates the shrimp that's out there a lot. So that's why I use that one. But see it queued up.
This is you. Go ahead.
And
this is your double.
This is our double sea trout right here. And I get comments a lot that I have my finger in this fish's gills. I do have it on the inside plate of that fish. I am so careful with these fish. You wouldn't believe how much I love sea trout. So I am very careful with these fish not to put my hands in their gills.
All right, coming back to you.
Don't be shy and come to Tarpon Springs. I love Tarpon Springs. We did a show up there near Caladesi Island a few years back, catching those big snook up there in that clear water. And if y'all, once again, I'll refer you to the YouTube channel there. Go check it out.
Summer Stories.
Summer Stories is what it was called. And that was in monster snook too. Beautiful, beautiful snook. Wasn't stained up. It was nice and clear.
All right, so set up this clip we're going to watch.
Okay, the next clip coming up, me and Mark Nichols, the creator of DOA baits, all these lovely baits I love to use. We were wading because he's from Texas, and you know Texans love to wade. And well, it was a great day out there. An awesome fishing.
God!
Oh, nice fish.
That
nice
one right
fish.
there, brother, is a trout and a half.
Oh yeah, baby.
He can bite me if he wants to. This size trout. I don't want to get my fingers in his
Don't
mouth.
watch his mouth there. There you go.
That's what you call a caught fish there, brother. Nice!
Sweet. Sweet.
Oh, easy, 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 easy. I want to show you all. I'll do it this way.
Good 28-inch fish.
I
Easy.
can't even grab the thing. Come here. Come here.
That's the trout. That's the Mogan trout that I was
That
telling
is
you
a
live
Mogan
around
trout
here.
right there. What do you think? 29 inches long?
Yeah, probably 29 right
29,
there.
30 inches? Woo, baby. Look at it. He got me. He bit me. I don't care.
Yeah, that's,
That fish there could bite me
Nobody's
you know where.
nobody's going to
Wow.
feel sorry for you on that.
Look at that beautiful fish.
They're so nice.
You want to get that hook out?
Sure. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Sweet.
Fellers,
No, I always mention Mark's name on the show in this little DOA shrimp. That was the very first lure that he ever made right there, and it was the gold with gold glitter in it. And I mean, that if he just wanted to make one bait for the rest of his life, or if I get a question a lot of times, you know, if you had one bait to fish with for the rest of your life, what would it be? Bingo, that dude right there. Because like I said before, everything eats a shrimp. One little thing I want to show you that I did not show you in the last segment about this airhead, it gives it a lot more action.
Oh, sorry.
And there we go. What I like to do with this is take and clip the tail and run it right down, right about that far. And what happens is that drags in the water, and it just gives that lure a lot of life, especially when it's just fluttering down. But that's a pretty good tip right there for those airheads if you ever use them. So we got some time for some questions here. Let's take a few.
How do you like to fish the shrimp lure?
How do I like to fish the shrimp lure? one thing I always said in my seminars, and I would hold this DOA shrimp up and I would say, how many people have ever used a DOA shrimp? Everybody's hands went up. And less on my next question that I ask is, how many people have never caught anything on one of these? And it's like I say, before it was a bunch of hands going up until we started teaching people how to use it. And the slower, it's probably one of the most boring baits to work in the world because you have to work it so slow. I'll throw it across this flat, let it sink down to the sand, and with the new Seaguar that I'm using, the braid, I can feel everything. This is a smackdown too, and I mean it is very sensitive. I can cast it a lot further. But what I do, I push my rod tip toward the shrimp and then pop it as hard as I can, but I'm only moving that shrimp about that far because it's the hydrodynamics in there, the sound of that shrimp going through the water that's going to attract the fish that's around there. And that's basically how I work it. And I'll skip it across the top of the water a lot of times, and just, you got to figure out how the fish want it presented to them all the time, and then repeat that during the day, and that's how you become successful. Successful. What is my favorite DOA lure? I think I just covered that one. Do you know Captain Willie Lee? Yes, I do know Captain Willie Lee. Willie Lee took a killer picture of a tarpon that's on my Facebook page, and very good photographer. Good dude too, great captain. Come up to Long Island for bass and the Sound. Done did that one out of New Rochelle. That was a pretty good time.
Stars and stripers.
Stars and stripers, man. That was pretty cool. We even the captain we were with let me take one home, and we grilled it up, and an absolutely delicious fish. Do you speckled perch fish? Speck tastes very good. Yes, I do. I got an airboat. We go on the St. John's. Me and my wife get out there and absolutely we have fun catching catfish. And everybody always asks what's my favorite fish, and you know, sea trout's it. But if I'm fishing and catching fish, it doesn't matter. Freshwater, saltwater, brackish water. It's all fun. Have you ever fished Long Island? Yes, New Rochelle. Been in Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, I was just down in Sarasota in that area this past week. We were doing a photo shoot for Skeeter, so when the new catalogs come out, you're going to see a new boat in their lineup too. It's a smaller boat, and it's very, very affordable to get in. So it's going to be at the Tampa Boat Show this year.
All right, let's wrap the commercial.
All right, we're going to take another little break here. Make sure you write your questions down. I'm going to try to keep up with as much as I can while we're on break here for a second. Let me get a drink of water, and we'll be right back.
Nope, that's good. That's good. That should come right to him. Ooh.
That's when you wish you had a fly rod. God.
A little bit more of a subtle approach, but that was awesome just seeing that right there.
I'm gonna go for a release here. I'm telling you, these are some serious tarpon around here.
Oh, really?
There's just, there's so many tarpon around this place. Let me tell you, it's addictive.
That was a little segment called from the show Dancing with the Stars. I was fishing with Bill Dance. We've done, I don't know how many shows together now, but one heck of a guy to fish with. If you ever get a chance to meet Bill Dance, do not hesitate to go up and talk to him and say hi. One of the nicest men in the world you'll ever meet in your entire life. Hands down. I'll fish with him anytime, anywhere.
No doubt.
For anything. If he wants to go fishing for snakeheads, well, that's fun too. But if he just want to go catch a little brim, I'll go with him any day. Great guy. What's a good redfish catching rig? Once again, that deadly combo right there. I've caught thousands of redfish on it. Thousands. And what's the only fish I haven't caught? Oh, there's a ton of them out there I haven't caught. Barramundi, I would love to go to Australia and do that. Blue marlin, I hooked a giant one time down in Cabo San Lucas. But you know, there's a big bucket list of fish I haven't caught out there.
Kenny Connolly wants to know if we're going to see a Gen 3.
The Gen 2s are working great. If there's any type of improvement that you guys out there think might be needed for the rods, you know, I'm always open for comments on them. I'm seeing a lot more of them out there, so they're getting pretty popular. I absolutely love using them. They're when the rod designer came to me from Wright McGill and asked me about the rod, he said, you know, what do you want to see in a rod? And I said, basically, you know, kind of make the tip of it real soft like a certain rod out there, and make the middle of it like another certain rod out there, and then the butt of it make it like another certain rod that I used to love to use growing up. So it's strong on the butt, semi-strong in the middle, and nice little tips. So you can cast those little summertime shrimp at them. So he hit it right on the head. You know, basically we got everything. Biggest shark ever, that 18-foot hammerhead. Spearfishing, yes, I used to go spearfishing quite a bit when I was a diver. Always go down and get the bugs off of Canaveral, off of Pelican Flats out there, and you know, there was a couple nice grouper down there. They came home too.
Somebody asked about Louisiana, that erosion problem that you touched on this year.
Sad deal down there. What's going on? The fishing is still awesome there. Don't get me wrong, but the fishing areas, basically the fish have moved to different areas because there's so much saltwater intrusion that has come in and killed all the freshwater aquatic life in there. And I know everybody says, well, it's freshwater, but redfish in Louisiana, I have caught them in the freshest water, swimming right next to bass and catfish and brim and everything else. They adapt to the fresh water out there, and when you do find that fresh water, it's crystal clear. It's like fishing in an aquarium. It's unbelievable. Up around Delacroix, and you get way back up in the marsh there, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a good bait for cobia. Once again, that little dude right there, when you clean a cobia, I look in the stomach. I've done it my whole life when I clean fish. Look in their stomach and see what they're eating. You'll see shrimp, you'll see crabs, and unfortunately sometimes you'll even see sea turtles in there. But the shrimp is a great bait, and I also use that great big one that Mark makes. It's just a giant shrimp, and they're so used to seeing green jigs thrown at them, and they see something like that get thrown at them, and hey, it's a shrimp, and they eat it.
Says the Miradine is an excellent bait. I think that's going to be the topic of our next webcast.
Our next webcast, we're doing DOA this time. Our next webcast, we're going to be talking about mirror lures. So definitely tune into that one. I've been throwing mirror lures since I was a little kid, since I started fishing, and absolutely love the mirror lures. What's the best pier you've ever fished? The best pier I've ever fished had to be, I don't know, me and my cameraman we were down in the Bahamas. We were sitting on a pier down there, and we were catching little tiny grunts, and we were seeing who could catch the most. And I think I ended up at about 500, and he was about 450. But that was a good pier to fish. But the Canaveral Pier is always, the Cocoa Beach Pier is always a great pier to fish, especially during cobia season. Triple tail are always around there.
Well, do you like catching cobia?
How do I like catching cobia? I go nuts for cobia. Just because they're so good to eat, you can make them so many different ways, and they're a great fighting fish. And a lot of times, you know, when the cobia season's around, I'll go and I will catch my two and leave them alone, because there's nothing worse than seeing a bunch of cobia out there with their lips ripped up and stuff, where people are trying to cull them out and get bigger ones. So if I don't see one I don't want to take home, say it's too small, I don't want to catch him, I'm not even going to throw at him, because, you know, it makes them a little smarter sometimes too when you catch and release them.
Florida Boy Fishing wants to know where Mogan came from.
Where did Mogan? Let's see. Mogan's kind of cross between monster and a biggin. I called him biggins when my producer, when we were in second grade, he couldn't just call them biggins because he was from north of the Mason-Dixon line. I'm from south of the Mason-Dixon line. I say biggins. He said, I can't say it. They got to be monsters. So we made up a little word called Mogan. So we lived out there on Cocoa Beach, and you know, surfers have their own little lingo a lot of times out there, and we just made it up. We were surfing fishers. Well,
we knew that freshwater fish were lunkers, and we didn't want to call them lunkers, so we made up our own word.
Always knew what a lunker was, and I'd never hear me call a trout a lunker. Best way to catch from a kayak, all I can afford. Any suggestion? Want to get my first poon? Wait till they're right offshore. Say April, May. They're right off of St. Pete. I see kayakers out there all the time. You know, you can put in right there, and you know, try not to get in anybody's way, and make sure you take an anchor too, because if one of those big tarpon hit, they'll pull you out. My cousin went for a ride for about 5 miles out one day in his kayak, and it took him a while to get back in. Best fishing experience ever? Appreciate that question, Anthony. The Amazon, hands down. Millions of miles away, it seemed like, from any civilization, and just catching. You can catch a fish literally on every cast in the Amazon, whether it be a peacock bass, a piranha, arowana, all kinds of different fish down there. Ever fish in Apollo Beach? Yes, I did. I fished there at the Pediatric Cancer Foundation tournament with none other than Billy Nobles, and caught a bunch of big snook back in there too. Best bait for tarpon? They're garbage feeders. They'll eat bellies of dolphin. They'll eat lures. They eat flies. There's not really a best bait for them out there because they key in on whatever's out there at the time, and that's what I like to use. If I'm using an artificial, I'll imitate what's out there.
Okay.
Ever catch yellowtail? That's what we just caught this past weekend off of Tampa Bay, about 95 feet of water. We had them chummed up behind the boat and absolutely knocked them dead. Also did a show down out of the Tortugas where the absolute giant yellowtail live. And what was the name of that one? Rush Maltz?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park? What a better name for the Tortugas. But caught some giant yellowtail with Rush.
Yeah.
Have I ever fished Asia, like Japan or Malaysia? No, I haven't, but it sounds interesting. I would love to do it.
Big shout out. Hopefully we got some military folks watching out there. Hopefully maybe checking into us, watching live. That'd be great, because I know you fished possibly. Have you fished over in Germany at all? Or?
Yeah, when I was in the Air Force myself when I was stationed over in Germany. I don't guess I can get in trouble for it now, but we used to sneak on the farmers' fields and catch a few of them big rainbow trout and run back to the base and cook them up in the kitchen. Had a good time doing that. And the rainbows over there, I think every one of them was a world record rainbow trout. They were 30 inch, a lot of them just 30-inch fish. I didn't think the rainbows got that big. And they weren't steelheads either.
Well, let's tell people where they can see you this the coming weeks here, because I know you got a busy schedule.
Oh yeah, fixing to get busy coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Going to be at the Tampa Boat Show. Going to be there Saturday. Come check out the new SX. I talked about it earlier. It's the new SX 210 by Skeeter. It comes with a lot of stuff that is extras on a lot of other boats. That's going to be standard on this boat, and it's very affordable than a lot of the other bay boats out there.
You give a little tour of the boat when you're
there?
there?
Oh yeah, give a little tour of the boat. Actually, if you come to Mogan Mania, we're going to be having that this November. It's going to be November
13th to the 15th.
November 13th through the 15th, and we're going to have a full line of Skeeter boats there. If you ever want to come take a drive in one, it'll be a perfect time to do it. Definitely come check them out. I'll take you for a ride.
Mogan Mania will be down in Fort Pierce at Dockside Inn. You can go ahead and book your rooms now for that weekend. You're going to get to fish with Blair Wiggins. We'll be hanging out, signing autographs, taking pictures, and it's a lot of fun.
And
2 weeks where are you going?
Yep, October 17th and 18th, we're going to be down in South Texas, down around Brownsville. We're going to be doing a couple of shows from down there, and plus we're doing a Dick's Grand Opening. So make sure you check your flyers. There's going to be some great deals out there. You buy a rod, you get that one going on?
We got to see it. October 17th and 18th.
Check the flyers, but usually when I do a grand opening you can buy a rod and you get a Sabalos reel for free. So it's like almost a $200 deal that you're getting for like $90. It's a really good deal. What type of reel do I use? Sabalos by Wright McGill.
All right, you ready to wrap it?
Yep. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Don't forget about the website. Definitely go check out anything that you want to see. Basically, we have on our YouTube channel. All of our 17 seasons are up there, 16 seasons are up there. Tips and tricks. When I'm working the baits, that's how I'm working them. We were actually doing a tip one time for that biggest snook that I ever caught. Doing the tip, and you can go. I'll tell you about it in a second.
We're going to roll that here.
Oh, okay. We're going to roll this. It's going to be an after the fight segment that we did, and it really happened different than what happened on the show. I was actually telling people the technique I was using, and right when I got done, I dropped the rod, and the fish picked it up. But that's the after the fight segments, and there's a bunch of after the fight segments on YouTube as well. Oh, God, I wish I could sit here and answer all questions, but I think I could stay up all night here. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. It's been a pleasure. We're gonna probably do this every couple, who knows, every week. We'd like to do it, but you guys tell us how many people show up is really gonna dictate when we do it. We're gonna leave you guys tonight with the after the fight of Blair catching his largest snook, and wait till you see really how it went down.
And wait one time, make sure you subscribe to the channel here too. That way you're going to know when the next webcast is. All I got to say. Enjoy this segment. We'll see you next time.
You know, the debate between East Coast and West Coast snook has been, ever since I've been around. And the East Coast snook, they always say, is the bigger ones. But I tell you what, for the past 14 years now, we just finished our 15th season. But for 14 seasons on Addictive Fishing, our biggest snook came from the West Coast. Look at the size of this snook. This is my biggest snook of my life, y'all. We were on Lynn Andrews' boat out of Naples. We were catching these giant snook that were spawning off in the Gulf of Mexico. It was in July, the season was closed, but man, every snook we pulled up off of that wreck was probably about 42, 43 inches, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that Labrador look.
Unbelievable. That was my biggest snook up until I went fishing with Captain Greg Snyder down there in Stewart. And Stewart is known for the biggest snook I've ever seen pictures of. That 48 incher that he put me on, what can I say? The largest snook I've ever had. Woo, baby. That is a Mogan.
That is a
and a half. And the strangest thing happened. We were done shooting the show pretty much. At least we thought we were done shooting the show. Greg had done caught that 44-inch monster. We were like, the biggest snook on the show, Oh! Look at that, baby. It's right here, Greg. Right here, not too much. God, what a snook. We go back a lot of times and we shoot tips, and basically I was teaching, kind of showing how we're letting the bait sink, and what that thing's doing is hopping up off the bottom and setting right back down on the bottom. We're not doing really big jigs with the tip of the rod. It's just barely popping it off the bottom. Let it sink, and right as I got done with the tip, the cameras dropped, and boom, it hit me. Next thing I know, I'm on with the biggest snook of my life. That's a fish, that's a big fish. Holy cow! I got hit with this snook, and when I went back to set the hook, you can almost tell the size of the snook just by the way he tugs back at you. I can normally talk when I'm fighting fish, but when I got a snook this big, y'all ever get a chance to head down there with Greg, I highly recommend it. He's one heck of a guide. We go to him when we need a show, and he's on the largest snook right now in Florida. Up?
Yep.
See, I'm live now?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm live now. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you tune in to the next one and sign up, because you'll get notified when the next webcast is. It was only supposed to be like 28 minutes. I can't believe it's 40 minutes flew by. So maybe we'll do this an hour next time. We'll see what happens. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.